Open your fridge right now. You'll probably find soda, yogurt, pizza, fruit, and food from halfway around the world. But 3 million years ago, your ancestors had none of that. And what they ate might completely shock you. They didn't start as skilled hunters. They were scavengers. When a lion killed an animal, it ate the best parts first. Then hyenas came in. And by the time our ancestors arrived, almost everything good was gone. But they had one trick: bones. Thick animal bones were too hard for most animals to break. So early humans grabbed rocks and smashed them open. Inside was something incredibly valuable: fatty bone marrow. And yes, they ate it raw. They cracked open giant leg bones and scooped out the soft, greasy marrow with their fingers.
It wasn't disgusting to them. It was a feast, because fat meant energy, and energy meant survival. But it gets even stranger. They ate brains, too. A broken animal skull could contain a huge amount of fat. For a starving human, that was basically a treasure chest. And our ancestors also ate termites, beetles, grubs, and other insects. Insects weren't emergency food. They were dinner. And this lifestyle lasted for over 1 million years. Generation after generation, humans survived on whatever they could find. Then, something changed everything. Fire. And suddenly, food became complete. Once humans learned to control fire, they could cook. Meat over hot coals, roots buried in ashes, bones heated in the fire. And cooking did something incredible. It basically started digesting the food before you even ate it. Raw food takes a lot of work for your body to break down. Cooked food is easier to digest, and that means your body can get more energy from it. But here's the crazy part. Some scientists think cooking may have helped support the evolution of our giant brains. Your brain is only about 2% of your body weight, but it uses around 20% of your energy. That is a huge bill to pay. And cooking
gave our ancestors access to more usable calories. More energy meant more power for the brain. Then the human menu exploded. By hundreds of thousands of years ago, our ancestors were eating almost anything they could catch or collect. Mammoths, bison, wild horses, fish, shellfish, eggs, roots, nuts, berries, and mushrooms. But there was one food they really loved: honey. The Hadza people of Tanzania still hunt for wild honey today. They climb trees, deal with angry bees, get stung, and keep going. Why? Because honey packs a huge amount of energy into a tiny amount of food.
And that explains something about you. Why do you crave sugar so much? Because for most of human history, sugar was rare. If your ancestors found honey, their brains basically screamed, "Eat it!" Instant energy, extra calories, and whatever wasn't needed immediately could be stored as fat. Today, that ancient system is still running. But now, you don't need to climb a tree for honey. You walk into a store, and there's soda, candy, cookies, cereal, desserts. Your ancient brain sees all of them as treasure.
And sugar wasn't the only craving that helped humans survive. Meat was another jackpot. One giant animal could provide food for an entire group for days or even weeks. That meant less time searching for food and more time doing something else.
More time meant more opportunities to raise children, teach skills, build better tools, tell stories, and stay together. So when you crave a juicy burger today, you may be feeling an ancient survival instinct. But then we found something much darker. Around 14,700 years ago, people living in England left behind evidence that is still disturbing scientists. At Gough's Cave, researchers found human bones. But these bones were different. They had been deliberately cut and broken. And then came the shocking part.
Human skulls had been carefully cleaned. Some were shaped into what appeared to be cups. Long bones had been cracked open, just like animal bones were cracked open for marrow. And here's the terrifying question. Were these people eating other humans? The evidence suggests they were.
And it may not have been because they were starving. The cave also contained plenty of animal remains, so humans may not have been the only thing they had available to eat. They may have been choosing it for cultural or ritual reasons. And Gough's cave wasn't the only place with evidence like this.
Similar evidence has been discovered at other ancient sites across Europe: Germany, France, Spain, Croatia. Different places, different groups, but sometimes the same disturbing behavior. And there's another part of the ancient diet people rarely talk about: rotten food.
Imagine killing a huge animal. You can't eat the entire thing in one day. So what do? You store it. And after days or weeks, the meat starts to decay. Maggots appear. The smell gets terrible. But your ancestors may have eaten it anyway.
Why? Because natural fermentation and decay can break food down. Some preserved foods become easier to digest, and microorganisms can produce useful nutrients. That basic idea eventually became part of many foods humans still love: cheese, yogurt, sourdough, pickles. So when you eat fermented food today, you're benefiting from a very old human relationship with microorganisms. But there's an even bigger lesson here. Your cravings were not designed for the modern world. They were designed for survival.
Your body spent millions of years learning one simple rule. If food is rich, eat it. If it's sweet, eat it. If it's fatty, eat it. If it's salty, don't waste it. Because tomorrow, there might be nothing.
But today, the situation is completely different. Food is everywhere. You can order dinner in seconds. You can open a refrigerator at midnight. You can buy thousands of calories without walking more than a few minutes. Your ancient body is living in a completely modern world.
And here's the weirdest thought. Take you and drop you into the world of 50,000 years ago. You might not survive. You wouldn't know which plants were safe. You wouldn't know where to find water. You probably couldn't hunt effectively. The landscape would be full of food you couldn't recognize.
But now, reverse it. Take a human from 50,000 years ago and put them inside your kitchen. They would probably think they had entered the greatest food store in human history. Cold drinks, fresh fruit, bread, milk, meat. Food available whenever they wanted.
They wouldn't understand refrigerators. They wouldn't understand why food never seems to disappear, because their entire life was built around one problem. Where will our next meal come from? And yours probably isn't.
So the next time you open your fridge at 11 p.m., even when you're not hungry, remember this. You're not just looking for a snack. You're carrying millions of years of survival instincts inside your head. The world changed, the food changed, but the ancient program is still running. If you liked the video, please subscribe.